Every time someone throws thorns in your path, fate plants roses in your garden. That's the law of cosmic balance, unseen, undefeated, and always on time. Life doesn't forget, it keeps receipts. And the universe, it has a strange way of restoring order. Those who tried to bury you, they never realized you were a seed. The ones who laughed, sabotaged, and secretly hoped for your downfall, watch closely, because the very trap they set for you becomes the pit they fall into. Critics, haters, manipulators, call them what you want. They don't just hate your success. They hate that you're chosen. They sense it. They feel it in the silence after you walk away, in the glow that stays even when they try to dim your light. Your growth haunts them. Your power exposes them. They can't understand why everything they tried to destroy just made you stronger. Irony? Number cosmic justice. You weren't designed to blend in. You're not here to be liked. You're here to rise. And the same people who tried to drain your energy will choke on their own bitterness when they realize your silence was your strategy. Their chaos gave you clarity. Their betrayal gave you fuel. Their games made you unbreakable. So don't apologize for leveling up. Step into the alignment. Because your success isn't accidental, it's spiritual. The universe is done playing nice. This is your rise. Like, subscribe, and let them witness what they tried to stop. They played with fire. Now let them watch you burn brighter. Number 1. Stop letting people use your strength as their crutch. Let them stand or fall without you. They never wanted to stand on their own. They just wanted a strong back to ride on. And unfortunately, chosen one, that back was yours. You weren't picked for your softness. You were targeted for your strength. They saw how much you could carry, how much you would give, and they turned your compassion into their comfort zone. But let's be real, they never intended to grow. They weren't looking for wings. They were looking for a permanent nest. At first, it felt like purpose, being needed, being important. You were the one they leaned on, called, cried to. You thought you were helping. You thought your presence was healing them. But you were just patching up the holes in a sinking ship while they poked new ones behind your back. And the truth? They never planned to learn how to swim, because they knew you'd never let them drown. Chosen ones are magnets for the broken, but not because we're supposed to fix them. It's because users sense your energy. They sense your rare ability to show up when no one else will. But here's the plot twist. They never saw your strength as sacred. They saw it as free labor. They turned your back into a bridge. And when they crossed it, they never looked back to see if it was breaking under the weight. But now, the bridge is closed, the weight is off, and the lesson begins. You are not a cane for the lazy. You are not a cushion for the reckless. You are not a second chance factory for people who refuse to evolve. Every time you hold them up, they get weaker, and you get stuck. That's why your life felt like it was on pause. You weren't living. You were carrying lives that didn't even belong to you. Let them stumble. Let them fall. Not because you're heartless, but because you finally remembered your heart matters too. You've got your own path to walk, and you can't take flight with someone else chained to your ankle. No more being the safety net. No more emotional mule work. No more self-sacrifice dressed up as loyalty. They weren't relying on you because they admired your strength. They were addicted to it. And the only way they'll learn to stand is if you stop being the floor they fall on. You're not their savior. You're not their support beam. You were never born to hold up broken people who choose to stay broken. You were born to rise. And rising means letting go of everything that drags. Let them figure it out. Let the silence teach them what your presence never could. Number 2. End the silent manipulation. If they whisper, you need to roar. Chosen ones, this is the kind of battle no one sees coming, the kind of manipulation that wears a smile, cloaks itself in kindness, and whispers its way into your trust. It doesn't come with threats. It doesn't scream. It creeps in slowly, dressing itself up as love, loyalty, or harmless help. Until you're wrapped in a web you never even saw being spun. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that friend who always needs something, your time, your energy, your emotional availability, but never seems to notice when you're struggling. It's the family member who makes their demands sound like favors, but you're the one left drained. It's the coworker who uses words like teamwork to dump their responsibilities into your lap, knowing you won't push back. These people are strategic. They don't demand loudly, they manipulate softly. And here's the brutal truth. They know exactly what they're doing. They know you're the kind of person who overthinks, who avoids conflict, who would rather stay quiet than stir tension. And they weaponize that silence against you. The longer you stay quiet, the more power they have. Your kindness becomes their permission slip. Your empathy becomes their open door. And your silence, their greatest tool. But not anymore. You weren't chosen to be someone else's puppet. You weren't placed on this path to be drained by those who camouflage control as care. That phase is over. The moment you recognize this manipulation for what it is, a calculated system meant to exploit your peace, you take your power back. It starts with naming it, then cutting it. No more shrinking, no more rationalizing, no more carrying their weight while they sit comfortably in the shade of your effort. You're not cold for setting boundaries. You're not selfish for saying no. You're not wrong for finally seeing through the performance. You're rising. And as you rise, you'll notice the masks will fall, the fake concern will evaporate, and the manipulators will panic because they never expected you to wake up. They weren't being kind. Number 3, : Protect your light. You're not a free power source for the ungrateful. Chosen ones, let's get one thing straight. Your light is rare. It's not the flicker of a candle. It's a wildfire. It can warm the whole room or burn through every lie in its path. And that's exactly why people gravitate toward you. Not out of love, not out of respect, but because they think they've found a free power source to plug into. They'll flatter you, tell you you're so inspiring, so driven, a breath of fresh air. But behind those words is a quiet strategy. Drain you while smiling. They don't want to grow their own light. They want to live off yours. They want your energy to light up their path, even if it leaves you standing in the dark. And the most dangerous part, they never ask, they just take. A little here, a little there, a favor, a vent session, another late-night emotional dump. Before you even realize what's happening, you're running on fumes while they're glowing. Off your strength. They'll never admit they're draining you. In their minds, you're just being you, generous, strong, selfless. But they don't see the cost. They don't notice the nights you can't sleep, the mornings you wake up empty, or the moments you feel like you've lost yourself in being everything to everyone. Here's the hard truth. It's not their job to protect your light. It's yours. And if you don't start guarding it with everything you've got, they'll keep helping themselves like it's an all-you-can-eat energy buffet. Ask yourself this. When was the last time they poured back into you? Do they check in on you, or do they only show up when they need a charge? That's your answer. You are not a human charger. You are not a background generator to keep their life running. You are not here to be drained, used, or dimmed. You're here to shine, on your terms, not for their convenience. From now on, your energy is invite only. Your light has a lock on it, and the next time someone comes close, make sure they're not just drawn to the glow, but that they deserve to be in the presence of it, because you're the flame, and you decide who gets to stay warm. Number 4. Cut off the comfort addicts. Your sacrifice shouldn't be their survival plan. Chosen one, let's call it what it really is. They're hooked on your sacrifice like a drug. They don't just accept your help, they expect it. And over time, that expectation becomes entitlement. You didn't just become their go-to, you became their backup plan, their escape route, their safety net. And the worst part, they don't even see it as a sacrifice anymore. They see it as your job. You gave out of love. You showed up out of loyalty. But somewhere along the line, they stopped appreciating it and started depending on it. And now, your kindness is their crutch, your energy is their emergency exit, and your peace, that's been on the chopping block since day one. Here's the truth they'll never say out loud. They don't care how tired you are, how drained you feel, or how much you had to put aside to help them. As long as you're available, they'll keep taking. And as long as you keep giving, they'll never learn to survive without you. You've become their emotional insurance policy, and you're paying the premium with your own well-being. But here's where everything shifts. The minute you stop sacrificing yourself to hold up people who refuse to stand, you reclaim your power. This isn't just about saying no to them, it's about saying yes to you. It's about realizing that you're not selfish for choosing peace, you're strategic. You're not cruel for cutting people off, you're correcting an imbalance that's been draining you for too long. Ask yourself, when's the last time they went out of their way for you? When's the last time they carried your load, asked how you were doing, or sacrificed anything for your sake? If your mind goes blank, that's not loyalty. That's one-sided servitude. You were not chosen to be their permanent fix. You weren't sent here to be drained dry while they thrive. You were chosen to evolve, to rise, and to walk a path that doesn't require constant rescue missions. So let them face their own chaos. Let them feel the silence where your sacrifice used to be. Because the longer you play the savior, the longer they stay stuck, and so do you. Cut them off before they consume what's left of you. Number 5. Guard your empathy. Without boundaries, you're just fuel for their chaos. Chosen ones, your empathy is rare, and that's exactly why it's targeted. People don't just see your kindness, they strategize around it. You have a heart that feels the pain of others like it's your own, and that's a beautiful thing. But when you don't set boundaries, your greatest strength becomes your most dangerous weakness. Let's get something straight. Not everyone you feel for deserves your energy. Some people see your empathy as a green light to dump every emotional crisis on you while they sit back and play helpless. They're not looking for healing. They're looking for a human bandage they can peel off and reapply when convenient. And guess who they choose? You, the one who can't stand to see others suffer. But here's the trap. Every time you say yes when your soul is screaming no, you're not just helping them, you're destroying yourself. You're pouring from a cup that's been empty for months. You're sacrificing your peace, your sleep, your sanity to rescue people who wouldn't even toss you a rope if you were the one drowning. They don't want to change. They just want someone strong enough to carry their chaos, and they know you'll do it because you care. But here's the truth no one tells you. Empathy without boundaries is emotional suicide. It doesn't make you noble. It makes you easy to use. And while they heal, you bleed. While they recharge through your energy, you quietly burn out in the background. Being empathetic doesn't mean you're here to absorb everyone's darkness. You're not a dumping ground for broken souls who refuse to do the work. Real empathy has limits. Real empathy honors your well-being first. Say no. Draw lines. Let people sit in their own consequences. You weren't chosen to be an emotional landfill. You were chosen to rise. And the only way to do that is by refusing to destroy yourself in the name of saving people who never intended to save themselves. Your empathy is sacred, but your peace, non-negotiable. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Number 6. Don't be proud of endurance. Be respected for what you refuse to tolerate. Let's make one thing clear. Chosen One, they're not impressed by your endurance. They're exploiting it. The world taught you that swallowing pain without complaint made you noble, that being the quiet warrior, the one who always held it together, made you strong. But that's a lie, a dangerous one, because while you were breaking your back to keep the peace, they were watching and calculating. That co-worker who keeps piling their work on your plate, they don't admire your strength, they see an opportunity. That friend who crosses the line again and again, they're not in awe of your patience. They're using your silence as permission. The more you endure, the more you teach them you'll never fight back. And guess what? That's not power. That's permission to keep draining you. Chosen ones weren't born to be passive. You weren't placed here to be the strong one who suffers in the background while others thrive at your expense. You were chosen to break patterns, not survive them. Respect doesn't come from pain tolerance. It comes from drawing the damn line, from saying, enough. Every boundary you set is a signal to the universe that your energy has value. Every no you say shakes the ones who thought they had you figured out. They don't fear your endurance, they fear your enforcement. The day you stop accepting crumbs, the table starts shaking. The minute you stop absorbing disrespect, people scramble to adjust. At first, they'll resist. They'll call you cold, selfish, dramatic. That's the panic of losing access to a free emotional punching bag. But keep going, because once they realize you're no longer available for disrespect, they either rise up or fade out. You don't earn respect by carrying more than your share. You earn it by refusing to carry what was never yours. Stop proving how much you can take. Start proving how little you're willing to accept. Enforce your boundaries like your life depends on it, because it does. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be respected. And only those who value you will stay once you stop being easy to use. Number 7, : exit their drama. You weren't born to be the hero in someone else's mess. Some people are addicted to chaos the way others are addicted to comfort. It gives them identity, attention, and an excuse. Their life is a revolving door of poor choices, fake crises, and emotional wreckage. And right when it all begins to collapse, guess who they call? You, the chosen one, the fixer, the rescuer, the one who shows up with calm in the middle of their storm. But here's what they'll never admit. They don't want the storm to end, because the chaos gives them power over people like you. At first, you thought you were helping, being reliable, doing the right thing. You kept showing up, cleaning up, patching holes they kept ripping open. You weren't just putting out fires. You were the whole fire department on call 24/7 for a life that wasn't even yours. You didn't audition for this role, but they handed you the script anyway. And out of guilt, history, or just that deep need to see others win, you took the part. But now, the script ends. Because chosen ones weren't made to be background actors in someone else's drama. You are not a supporting character in a never-ending tragedy that only exists because they refuse to grow up. You are not here to rescue people who sabotage themselves and then cry for help when the consequences hit. That's not loyalty. That's spiritual slavery. Every time you save them, they learn nothing. Every time you show up, they stay stuck. And meanwhile, your own story, your goals, your joy, all placed on pause so you can live in someone else's disaster movie. Enough. Let them fall. Let them clean up their own mess. That's how people grow, when there's no one left to save them but themselves. You're not cruel for stepping back. You're wise. You're finally choosing your own path over their endless detours. Chosen ones weren't made to be heroes in broken stories. You were made to write your own legacy. Walk away from their script and start creating your masterpiece. The moment you stop saving them, you finally start saving yourself. Number 8. Stop falling for the thank you trap. Parasites smile before they drain you. Chosen ones, beware the most dangerous manipulator of all, the one who smiles while they drain you, the one who uses gratitude like a trap. They'll look you in the eyes, say all the right things, tell you they couldn't have done it without you. But pay attention. Their thank you is not admiration, it's strategy. This is the grateful parasite. And their favorite game is pretending to appreciate you just enough to keep you giving. They're not the loud manipulators. They won't scream or demand. No, these are the ones who flatter you, butter you up, and praise your heart just enough to keep you tied to their needs. They say thank you, but never show up for you. They act humble but secretly expect your help, as if it's owed to them. You give, and they smile. You give more, and they stay quiet. But stop for a moment, and they panic, because now their supply is threatened. The truth? They're not thankful. They're just addicted to your energy, and they've learned that fake appreciation is the easiest way to keep you on the hook without ever having to give anything back. They don't see your sacrifices. They count on them. They treat your time, your help, your presence like it's a subscription they never planned to pay for. And when you finally ask for something in return, they act like you're the one being selfish. Let's be clear, you are not a free resource. You are not obligated to keep showing up just because someone says the right words. Chosen ones, your kindness is rare, but if you don't guard it, these parasites will keep sipping from your soul while calling it love. Gratitude without reciprocity is manipulation, and you've seen enough to know when someone's using politeness as a cover for entitlement. So don't be fooled by the thank you. Watch their actions, because if they never pour back into you, that gratitude is just camouflage. Cut the cord, shut the tap, starve the parasite. You're not here to be endlessly drained in exchange for shallow praise. You're here to rise, to protect your energy, and to give only to those who respect the value of your presence, not just the benefit of it. Number 9. Charge full price for your time. Your minutes aren't free for freeloaders. Chosen ones, your time is not cheap. It is your most sacred currency. More valuable than money, more irreplaceable than energy. And yet somehow, people treat it like loose change they can scoop up without asking. They don't knock, they barge in. They text you with their crises, call you with their chaos, and expect you to drop everything because they've decided your minutes belong to them. But here's the brutal truth. Every second you give away to someone who doesn't respect it is a second stolen from your own destiny. And once it's gone, there are no refunds. They walk away relieved, lighter, satisfied. While you sit there wondering why your dreams keep getting delayed, why your goals stay parked in neutral, why your peace feels drained, it's not by accident, it's by design. These people don't admire your time, they abuse your access. They disguise demands as quick favors and wrap disrespect in the language of need. But the game is simple. Their emergency becomes your distraction, and slowly your life becomes background noise in their loud chaos. You weren't chosen to be on call for everyone else's drama. You weren't born to sacrifice your calendar for people who wouldn't wait 5 minutes if it were you needing them. Your time is gold. Stop handing it out like sand. It's time to charge full price for your presence. Let people earn your time. Let them know it's a privilege, not a free-for-all. Because when they know you'll always answer, always show up, always sacrifice, why would they ever value it? Chosen ones move different. We operate with vision, purpose, precision, and nothing derails that faster than time thieves with sweet words and selfish intentions. So from now on, protect your time like it's your last breath, because in many ways it is. Guard your schedule like a fortress. Decline access with no guilt. And if they don't like your boundaries, good. That means they were never worthy of your time in the first place. You are not an emotional convenience store. You are the architect of your own legacy. And your time, that's your empire's foundation. Don't let just anyone step on it. Number 10. Make your independence their nightmare. Walk away and watch them. Panic. Chosen ones, your independence isn't just a breakthrough for you, it's a breakdown for them. The second you stop asking for permission, the second you realize you don't need validation, approval, or their watered-down support, that's the moment their entire illusion starts to burn. They were never afraid of losing you. They were terrified of you finding yourself. You see, they never truly connected with you. They connected with your dependence, with your uncertainty, with the version of you that still questioned your worth. As long as you stayed unsure, you stayed accessible. But the moment you said, "I can stand without you," their fake throne started to crack. These people weren't just taking, they were feeding off your self-doubt. You filled the gaps in their ego. You were the steady rhythm to their chaos. You made their fragile identity feel secure. And now your detachment is their unraveling. Because your power doesn't shout, it withdraws. It stops showing up. It stops picking up the pieces. It stops playing the savior in a story that was never yours. And trust this, the ones who secretly feared your strength will start panicking the moment you use it. Watch how fast they guilt trip you. What happened to us? You've changed. We were supposed to do this together. No. What they really mean is, come back to being manageable. Come back to being small. But it's too late. You saw the game. You saw through the smoke. You saw that the connection wasn't about love. It was about leverage. Chosen ones aren't meant to orbit around anyone's needs. You're not here to be someone's anchor while they drift endlessly through life. You're here to rise, to rebuild a life that revolves around your vision, your truth, your peace. Let them tremble in the silence. Let them drown in the absence of the version of you they once controlled. Because now they're facing their greatest fear, you in full power. No guilt, no permission, no apology. You were never their lifeline. You were the storm that taught them to swim or sink. And now you walk away like the storm you are, calm, fierce, and absolutely untouchable. Number 11. Kindness without strategy will break you. Be smart with your yes. Chosen ones, your kindness is your power. But without wisdom, it becomes your trap. You weren't born to be cold, but you also weren't born to be used. And make no mistake, people can smell unguarded kindness like blood in the water. The second they sense you give without boundaries, they swarm, smiling, grateful, harmless. But underneath, it's calculation. There's a lie you've been sold, that good people always say yes, that to be kind, you must be endlessly available, endlessly giving, endlessly drained. That lie was designed to destroy you. Because when you give without discernment, you're not being noble. You're being marked. You're teaching manipulators how to access you. Every yes that came from guilt instead of clarity, every favor you did while silently falling apart, was a silent invitation for them to take more. They don't feel bad for draining you. They feel entitled, and they'll smile while doing it. You might think you're helping, but you're actually crippling them. You're not showing them love. You're showing them how to avoid growth. Every time you fill their voids, you rob them of the need to rise. And they won't thank you for that. They'll expect it. Again, and again, and again. Chosen one, your kindness isn't supposed to destroy you. It's meant to elevate you. So here's the truth. Kindness without boundaries is not strength. It's self-sabotage in a pretty costume. Real kindness is strategic. It knows when to step in and when to step back. It knows that saying no can be more loving than 100 tired yeses. It knows that protecting your energy is protecting others, because a burnt-out soul can't light the way for anyone. Let them think you're mean for drawing the line. Let them call you selfish, because their opinion is not your responsibility. Your peace is. And the people who are meant for you, they'll never need you to destroy yourself to prove your heart. You don't owe access to those who only take. Be kind, yes, but be sharp. Be warm, but be wise. Kindness with boundaries, that's the kind they fear, because it can't be controlled. Number 12. Silence is permission. Speak up or stay trapped in their control. Silence feels safe, doesn't it? Like maybe if you just keep the peace, things won't explode. Maybe if you stay quiet, they'll eventually respect you. But chosen one, here's the brutal truth. Silence isn't peace. It's camouflage for their manipulation, and they know it. Every time you swallow your words, they grow bolder. Every time you downplay your pain, they sharpen their tactics. These people aren't confused. They're calculated. They count on your discomfort with confrontation. They bank on the fact that you don't like conflict, that you'll overthink everything before you speak, that you'll protect their feelings at the expense of your own. And guess what? That silence you think is keeping things together. It's the very reason they feel entitled to tear you apart, bit by bit. Chosen ones, your silence gave them a stage. Your silence became their strategy. And each time you let them slide, they learned one thing. You're easy to exploit because you won't fight back. But that ends now. The moment you open your mouth and say no more, the illusion shatters. You're not here to carry their guilt. You're not here to be agreeable at the cost of your soul. Your voice is your weapon. Your boundaries are your fortress. And trust me, they fear your voice more than your silence. Because when you finally speak, they can no longer twist the narrative. Let them squirm under the weight of your truth. Let them stumble when they realize you're no longer emotionally available for their games. Your honesty will feel like thunder to those who built their comfort on your silence. You were never meant to be mute in your own life. You are not passive, you are power. And the second you stop shrinking to protect others, you start expanding into the force you were always meant to be. Don't mistake silence for strength, the real strength. It's speaking up when it's uncomfortable. It's standing firm when your knees want to buckle. And it's choosing truth even when it shakes the room. Your voice, that's the one sound they can't control. Let it rise, let it echo, let it end their control, for good. So here's the truth, chosen ones. Once you stop being silent, stop being used, and stop playing small to make others comfortable, everything changes. The people who took you for granted will feel the shift. And the power they had, gone. Because now you are in control. You're no longer their crutch, their energy source, or their emotional backup plan. You've reclaimed your voice, your peace, and your path. If this message hit home, don't leave without showing love. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your journey isn't over. It's just getting started.